While Hisuian Decidueye might not be the Pokemon that you would expect in a video like today, I kinda want to showcase this Pokemon because it is quite unique in what it can do. This Pokemon has access to Aura Sphere, one of the strongest moves currently in the game, with 80 damage for 40 energy. But this Pokemon has something else as well. It has access to the fast move of Psycho Cut. What this means is you're going to have a rapid fire for one of the strongest moves in the game. Psycho Cut is generating a ton of energy, which allows you, after just 9 Psycho Cuts, to get to 2 Aura Spheres, which are stat boosted as well from this Pokemon. This is ridiculous. And also, not only this, you're also going to have access to Trail Blaze, boosting your own attack. So Decidueye has a very unique kind of standing here right now, because Pokemon can go for rapid fire, super hard hitting charge moves, and honestly, it's such a fun Pokemon to run in this current meta. But let's take a look at how strong it's actually going to be. And I made a big mistake with this team, and I'm going to talk about this here today as well. It's something that I didn't really expect that it would be a mistake. But yeah, of course, stay tuned for the rest of the video. Stay tuned for a lot of fun gameplay with the Decidueye. And hopefully, of course, you enjoy this kind of videos, those videos where I try some Pokemon that you maybe don't see all the time, then leave a like here as well. Next opponent is going to be Dan Ottawa here as well, for a YouTuber. Let's see on how we're going to play out against them. We're going to have here the Litleo in the lead. Litleo, they also me between Litleo and the Talonflame. I just went for Litleo because we're in the interlude season. I want to play some fun Pokemon and not just the hardcore meta Pokemon. And we're going to get out a normal type. Trust me, while I don't have a fighting type fast move, I have a fighting type charge move. And this is the main reason why I really want to try out the Decidueye, because I knew that there are so many normal types currently that I want to have a double fighting backline. And here is where my mistake. I completely underestimated on how many Pokemon would know Charm currently in this meta and how many players are running Charm in this meta. If I would have had, instead of the Annihilate, something like any kind of rollout user, to be fair, I feel like I would have been in a better spot with this team. While then you're still going to have the double weakness to your fighting, I would more steadily swap it into the Talonflame, because Litleo and Talonflame are very much the same Pokemon. Like, they do quite the same things. In terms of, in this meta at least, you have Crunch, which is kind of cool as a coverage move on the Litleo, which kind of makes it unique, but the rest, like Talonflame, does the same job as Litleo. You want to have an Incinerate user basically with a lot of fire potential and then boost chance, as you have Talonflame against the Zero, which is kind of hilarious. But in hindsight, the team that I would have played now at this point of time would have been the lead of Talonflame, one of the rollout normal type Pokemon as a safe swap, and then having the Decidueye in the back. This would have been a better team in my opinion than the team that I played here so far. I didn't think about it that much, to be fair. I just wanted to try out some fun Pokemon, and it makes way more sense to run it the way I just said. So I feel like I would have had a way more success actually with this team if I did that. One of the main reasons why as well is because I actually still had success with the team. I actually had a lot of fun, and I do think that the Decidueye is actually an amazing Pokemon. And I have to say as well, for the Annihilate, I overestimated on how good it actually is. What I mean with that is that I thought that Annihilate would be an amazing closer for this current meta, because there are so many normal type Pokemon, but the issue is that with the recent change to Shadow Ball and the most common normal type Pokemon being the Licky, which you see the entire time here right now, that you're actually going to end up with a sheer disadvantage coming out of this matchup, which, by the way, if you go into your Decidueye, is not the case. So basically, it makes so much more sense to have a Saysop that is just a normal type like Licky, like maybe even the Dunsparce, which is access to Body Slam, which I kind of want to showcase anyway, but I also saw now someone else showcasing it, and I just really like to have unique content on my channel, so I always like, that's the thing as well, there was like actually a time on my channel where people were like, oh, he's trying to copy someone. I always do the opposite of that. If I see someone kind of making a video towards a certain Pokemon, I try to avoid that, because I want to give them also their kind of spotlight there. I don't want to have, like, for you as well, multiple videos towards the same kind of topic. I feel like that's kind of not as cool, so I'm gonna try to always be unique, and this is what I try to do here today as well. We're going to have a very unique team, but again, we're going to have here the Ninetales against us in the back, and I have to hope that I can kinda outspeed them, or that they are running dazzlingly, which then allows me to outspeed them, because I do think that the Side Shock is sadly going to be enough to knock us out, and yes, it is. And again, I do feel like if we would have had the other kind of option here, if we would have had the option to go for one of the normal type Saysubs and have like the Talonflame in the lead, those matchups would be completely different. And this is the thing that I kind of want to tell you here as well right now. While maybe I'm not too happy with the team itself, which I have to say here, I'm not too happy with the team itself. I would rather recommend you the change that I just described multiple times already. I do think that this team, like the Pokemon itself, the Decidueye, has a lot of potential, and we had a lot of fun with this Pokemon here today as well. So this kind of, it's kind of an interesting thing, because at the end of the day, like, yeah, there were some issues with this team itself, but the Decidueye, a Pokemon that nobody's running at all, is actually amazing. Like, honestly, I had so much fun with this Pokemon. Here, I am gonna get farmed down, sadly. I cannot get to my right just in time, but I got them low enough that hopefully one Incinerate is enough, and they didn't go for a move. That means I can swap out into my Decidueye, they swap out into their Licky, which now allows me to go for the Aura Sphere again. And I should be able to get to my next Aura Sphere before the opponent gets to maybe the next move. Or if it's Body Slam, I still would survive. So let's see what they're going to go for. They're going to go for the Body Slam, they're still going to get there in time, but the Decidueye is going to be able to survive. I actually got a very solid IV version of this Pokemon here, as you can see on the right side. And because I want to prevent them to swap out, I just got to knock them out here with the Aura Sphere, and I should be in an alright spot as the Lantern is going to go down to another Aura Sphere. It's a rapid fire time here with this Decidueye. And now we can move on to the next opponent, where Litleo is going to go up against the Sandslash. That is amazing. Our entire team can beat this Pokemon. And let's hop onto the Gyarados, and again, I don't have a good answer. Gyarados doesn't actually make sense in this meta to be a say-so, because again, like, there's so many Licky around everywhere. If you would just have that in the back, we would have been able to hard counter this team, or like this opponent here. This is the thing as well. I just feel like this team would be actually so much better and so much. It's just amazing. I think if you have like the Talonflame in the lead with the say-so, then I have like a normal type there, because I feel like this kind of covers all the weaknesses, and I was so annoyed at myself because I only really realized that now afterwards, being like, why did I not do that? And so yeah, again, here a lot of the reasons why this team maybe struggles in this video so far could be completely avoidable, and that is kind of good to know. The opponent has here the Sandslash, they swap out into the Altaria. Again, Altaria, for example, is a Pokemon that's kind of difficult for us to deal with, unless you have like energy and maybe shield advantage on your Annihilate, which is next to Ice Punch. You're going to struggle with it. But if you have a rollout user, like, you're going to be absolutely fine there. And so I feel like this is kind of something that I just kind of want to say here as well. Like, it is what it is. I would just change the team and you would have so much more success. But it's not down to the Decidueye. Decidueye is actually amazing in this meta, because of what he can do is he can kind of lock down every single normal type Pokemon right now. That's not the Wigglytuff. I would say Wigglytuff maybe isn't the Pokemon that you want to lock down. But I feel like that's the thing that kind of annoys me right now. I look at all of the teams that we lose against, and I know that the team that I just suggested would have won against all of them. Against the Ranguru, both of them are kind of neutral, kind of similar, like both the Talonflame as well as the Litleo. Litleo has the advantage of actually having Crunch, which does some super effective damage, but at the end of the day, it's not going to do crazy amount if it gets shielded, but luckily we're going to get even the defense up against the opponent, which allows me to get some nice damage in, and I will be able to win the Zero Shield scenario against the opponent, and also the One Shield scenario as well, because if I can see here, I could go for the shield, and I would be able to just knock them out straight away, which I will be doing here as well. Why do I do this? Because I need to get rid of this Pokemon for my backline, which I can do now straight away. Let's hop out into the Wigglytuff, and that's going to be tough. But I can go for the Flame Charge against them. That is going to be crucial. Hopefully this lands, because I need the damage. And I do get the damage, which is amazing, because now I can go to my Annihilate. I am going to be able to get them kind of low, but I need to get them even lower. As they go for the Icy when they try to knock me out. But it's down to this matchup. I don't get to the move in time anymore. And again, we are just too weak now with this team. And this is my honest kind of review for this one. It's like the biggest issue is I didn't really expect that Wigglytuff would be that common, but it has been everywhere. In this case, I doubt that I would have won the battle no matter what, most likely. But even though Charjabug would have been alright with our lead of Litleo, if I just kept it alive, I would have had more options in the back. I would have been better off, but I didn't have that luxury, and so I'm going to go down here. I have no chance of winning this battle anymore, and the opponent's going to be able to win this. But again, it kind of irritates me so much, because there's so much more potential for the Pokemon that I have. And here's like, again, one of those scenarios where I'm like, I didn't really think about this too much. I was like, okay, Devil Fighter should be fine. But what against another Talonflame? What do I do here now? I'm likely going to be able to land the hit, which means at the end of the day, if I'm going to invest 2 shields here, I should be kind of positive at getting the alignment, which is going to be alright. But the opponent stops out anyway into the forward. And you might think, okay, that's cool for you, right? Like, that's great. That's perfect. And while yes, it is nice, as we will see here as well, we have the issue now of having only 1 shield, and any fighter that I bring in is just going to be a little bit of energy for the Talonflame. That's what I thought, but the opponent decides to swap out into a completely different Pokemon. I'm like, Why would you ever do that? Why would you ever do that? I get to another... Oh, are you sacrificing the Talonflame? That is an interesting play. It's a play that I've never really thought about. Is it worth it though? I am not too sure. At this point, I'm kind of forced to use a shield here. They're gonna go for the Ice Punch. I have to hope they can outspeed them. Can I? I can. That is alright. And now, the opponent's gonna be forced to go for a charge move anyway. They know that they need 5 more turns and not like 5 more fast moves in order to get there. But it's gonna be a bit of a tough one. As you see here, there's going to be the Ice Punch coming through, going to knock us out. That's alright. We're going to be able to go into the Elite Leo, and we are going to get farmed down. And so this game is sadly over. And yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I actually would have won this battle with the other type of team, but at the end of the day, good game to the opponent. We can move on to another Wigglytuff. So we need to keep alignment, and against a Skeldritch in the back, that is going to be a bit tough here, I would say. Skeldritch is a Pokemon that is showcased already on the channel. If you haven't seen the video, check it out. I really appreciated all the support on the video. Of course, we currently are in the interlude season, and of course, Global League generally is kind of a bit on the downward trend right now, but I do think that after the season is going to be all a little bit better again, because A, we have a normal season, and B, we're also going to have very likely an update to Pokemon GO PvP, because as expected here, you only have an interlude season if there is something that they do behind the scenes for the code. There's no other reason for the interlude season, and so we're hopefully going to see some kind of thing towards the season, but apparently, like clearly, they have not been ready to push anything out yet, which means we are just trying to do our best in the current system. And we can go for the full farm run against the Wigglytuff, as we are going to have a charge move start here with our Litleo. Can we win another battle here? Litleo goes for the crunch. It is not going to be enough to knock out the opponent, but I played this quite cleverly here, because what I just did is I just did get up to a crunch, but also my Annihilate, which is still lurking in the back with a few HP left, has still the Rage Fist. And that is what matters here. The Rage Fist is what matters here, because I know I'm going to go down here. And I know the opponent has enough energy to go for another move here, but it doesn't matter. If we have the Rage Fist, we have the Rage Fist, and this is going to knock them out, and we can move on to the final battle of this video. And again, like, I think we faced Wigglytuff in half of our battles, and this is just kind of tough if you have a backline that is double weak to Wigglytuff. It's just kind of impossible then in a lot of cases if you don't have the perfect alignment. Here we're just good alignment, but this doesn't mean that we win the battle either. I know that I'm going to be able to win this matchup against the opponent's Skeldritch without any kind of problems. There's no way they can actually align themselves against us, which is fine. Like, it is fine. It is cool. Don't get me wrong. But the issue is here now, of course, we still need this Pokemon for the Wigglytuff, and we don't know at all what is in the back. And it's going to be the Talonflame, and that is just going to be impossible to win. Like, what are we going to do here? I'm going to try to catch the move, actually, just so I can keep my shield. I hope they just go for the flying type move, which they did. But they undercharged so much that they're going to get some extra energy here, which is really unfortunate. I just go straight crunch because I could get the potential debuff onto the opponent's Talonflame. The opponent decides to use a shield, and now it depends on if I'm going to be able to win the CMP tie or not. It's going to be super, super close. As we'll see as well, the opponent is going to stay in here. They're swapping out now. I decided to kind of predict this play and go for the Flame Charge, which is going to do some solid damage, but I'm not going to be able to reach another move in time. And so now it's down to our Annihilate. And as we will see here, this is going to be over. There's not a lot that I can do here anymore. And so this is going to be it for this video. Again, I would really recommend you to try out the Decidueye, but with the change that I suggested, because I think this makes this Pokemon way stronger, and I hope I see you in the next video. Bye bye.